You're listening to Tavern Sports Radio Network.
Show me the money! Show me the money!
Show me the money! Welcome to the Show Me the Money podcast. We are in a whole new season, fellas. We're no longer in season 4. Josh, we have a little bit of stats on how the last season went. Not just how last season went, but how everything went. Let's start with last season first, though.
Yeah,
The winner of the last season. Who was the winner of the last season? Clark sitting there pointing at himself.
14-9, Clark.
It's me.
Well, 3 of us ended up with 13 wins, so that's why it took me a while. I had to filter through all the 13s to find the 14.
Fair enough. Yeah, Clark, hell of a season there, man. 14-9. If you were able to bet up in Wisconsin, you'd be up some money.
Oh, some good money.
Yeah. Hopefully soon. I know that Missouri just had its law delayed. They are hoping for the fall now is when we can sports bet in Missouri. It's unreal.
The natives own the rights up here, so I don't think it's going to happen.
Say that.
Well, let's take a look at the full thing, or at least this full season for season 4. Clark 14-9 took home the W, and then Josh mentioned there were 3 of us who had 13 wins. I was 13-10. Parker, 13.
So you're technically second off because you hit a buy or a push in there.
Yep.
So your push saves you, and then myself and Parker at 13-11. Then Cole at an even 500 at 10-10. John edging out Tyler, but Tyler gave 4 more picks. John at 9-11. Never forget.
Nice.
And Tyler, bringing up the rear, 9-15. If you can do quick math, that tells you the squad hit 51.2% of our bets. 0.3 we'll round up. 51.3%, which is a losing season. If you're taking all minus 110s, which we know we aren't doing, so.
Well, Ty, I wouldn't expect anybody else to bring it up the rear end, man.
Hey, I'm just saying, new season. I got
last season, Tyler was fine.
Yeah, last season was a tank. I was playing capture the flag. I do get the rights to drafting Cooper Flag. Now you guys don't. I will be willing to trade the first round draft pick in the NFL. I don't know who I want. I want Abdul Carter.
But, hot take, it's Abdul Carter. 100%.
But yeah, it's a new season. It is the weeds season. This is officially college basketball, baseball, pickleball,
hockey,
playoff tennis, golf. Like, this is where I thrive. You guys would all be like, Tyler, football season. Too many concussions.
Hey, Tyler. Last time we had a season like this, you went 4-5. It was our shortened season.
COVID season doesn't count. Scrub it from the record books. Scrub it from the record books. This is where I get hot, piping hot. Just saying.
Well, let's see how hot you can get, Ty. We're gonna start it off with NCAA basketball because, of course, that's the hot thing right now. We're not
gonna wrap up the Super Bowl.
Oh, we can wrap up.
I want my fucking victory lap on Jahan Dotson. That's all I want. I just want my victory lap on that.
I'll take the Cooper DeJean pick at plus 750.
You did call it. The touchdown too. I mean, that was
17 or 7,500.
Yeah. No, the touchdown wasn't 7,500, but yeah, I did call that. Just saying. Plus 750 play. So that in of itself puts me positive. If you bet that and all of my locks, I'm positive.
But you didn't lock that.
Has anybody else given out a plus 750 play on this show that's hit?
I would assume probably.
No,
I don't think
not a
so.
fucking shot. Not a
Blind
fucking
squirrel
shot.
finds nuts.
Not a fucking shot. So I'll take it. Shout out to the Eagles dethroning the dynasty. The dynasty talk has been completely shut down after the dismantling. It has been a while since the Super Bowl, but let ye not forget the good word. The Eagles won. Coop, he is a Super Bowl champion at the ripe age of 22. Could
On
have a
his
long
birthday.
career. Yeah.
Other birthday boy did not
Saquon was
show
a
up.
ghost.
Also called that. I may be a Super Bowl GOAT. That's all I'm saying.
Some are saying. But football season has been put to bed. Not really. The combine's coming up.
I mean, we're still gonna have our draft show.
Draft coming up. So there's life. But for now, put to bed. It is March Madness season. We are a couple weeks away from conference tournaments. We are just shy of
2 weeks away from conference.
I think we're 25 days, I want to say, from March Madness starting. So
I know Conference USA crowns their champion on the 11th. So we are 15 days from Conference USA having a champion.
Yeah. So we're close, boys, but let's get into the field for tomorrow. What's our first game, Ethan?
Yeah, so first game that we have for tomorrow, we have number 3 Florida headed into Georgia. We mentioned this. We're a week away from March Madness, or not a week away from March Madness, a week away from March, where the madness begins. So every game from here on out is extremely important in terms of rankings, in terms of where you're going to be in the tournament. Even, the however many points you beat a team by can make or break your season now at this point. So
not for Iowa. I was dead.
Yeah, I was dead. We're beyond that.
Win the Big Ten or bust, idiots.
Owen Freeman's out for the year, so hopefully he's back healthy next year. It's fine.
I'd totally
it's weird.
recognize that name.
I think Iowa has the best field goal percentage in the nation.
We're pretty high.
They were number 1 for a period of time.
Just play 0D.
It's okay. Yeah. Fran McCaffrey's going to get fired at the end of the season, or he's going to retire. And hopefully we get Darren DeVries off West Virginia, former Drake legend. And if not Darren DeVries, we're actually going to go and poach Drake's current coach, who is a first-year coach at Drake, and he's like 20-3 and has Drake squarely in the tournament as like a 12 seed right now. So if he can do that at Drake, hopefully with more money and slightly higher ranked players and higher ranked recruiting classes, we can have Iowa there. But
what about the dude from McNeese though? Like he's coached a big time program. He coached Kentucky. He coached an SEC program.
Kentucky's former coach is at Arkansas.
I don't know.
Well, if you can, Will Wade.
Yeah, Will Wade.
That sounds familiar.
Was he at LSU? Michigan? No.
He was at an SEC school. No, maybe not. Louisiana State. My bad.
Yeah, LSU. It's LSU.
Yeah, LSU. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Okay. You were kind of on it, but he wasn't there for a while. So, well,
5
he was there in
years.
2022. So, all right. Either way, let's dive into this fucking week. Speaking of McNeese will be in the tournament as well. Pretty confident about that one. That team is going to win their conference. But here we go. Number 3 in the AP poll ranking, Florida. They're heading into Georgia. Georgia is 7.5 point dogs at the time of recording. These lines could change quite a bit by the time tip-off happens. I wouldn't be surprised if this creeps closer to double digits. Florida, according to Ken Pom, is the 4th best team in the country with the 4th best offense and the 7th best defense. They're 5-3 in quad 1 opportunities. Georgia, on the other hand, 45th ranked Ken Pom team, 57th offense, 34th best defense. They're 2-11 in quad one opportunities. I think that needs to be talked about a little more because Josh, before we went live, you said you thought Georgia was like a shitty team this year, and they're really not. Like they're not
To be
in the
fair, I've
field.
watched like Auburn, Alabama one time and Tennessee, Alabama once. Like that's all the college basketball I've watched all year. So
They're not in the field at this moment. A win over Florida would be huge for them. The Joe Lunardi's bracketology that came out on the 21st has them as one of the first 4 teams out of the tournament. So they are squarely on the bubble right now. Definitely a big win here would help boost them in, but it's tight down here in the SEC with 12 teams being in the bracket, according to Joe Lunardi's latest bracketology. So, Clark, what do you have here?
I think everyone knows where we're going with this. I think we're all taking Florida here, especially getting 7.5 right now. I would take that in a heartbeat.
No, Florida's favored by 7.5, buddy.
Yeah, that's what I would take in a heartbeat right
You
now
like
before
that?
it goes up, before it moves up.
What is this a quad one opportunity for both teams?
yeah, Florida's like 4 in the
Yes.
country.
Well, yeah. I mean, I just didn't know if Georgia was technically a quad one opportunity for
Yeah,
them.
they're
quad one.
41st.
41st in the net rankings.
Yeah.
Net,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you guys. Like, there's no way Florida doesn't win this game. But, I mean, I'm going to back on Tyler's point here. That SEC is a tough division. So, like, getting a win in there is tough with how many teams are so good. So, like, this Georgia team is definitely going to be looking for a big win. And it not being in conference, this is going to be big for them. But, so I think it's going to be looking closer. I like Clark getting it closer to 7.5 before it goes up. But I think this game could be a little bit closer. But I do like Florida to win.
I got 6.5 on the yellow book.
What the fuck is the yellow book?
We've been over this.
Is that?
MGM.
Okay.
Oh, that was not what I was thinking.
I haven't heard of them in a long time, but I'll smash 6.5 if I can get
Yeah,
it.
I like
Yeah.
that.
This Georgia team is 16-11. Let me just rattle off these 11 losses for you real quick. Marquette, are they good? Yeah.
Yes.
Ole Miss, ranked team. Tennessee, Auburn, Arkansas, Florida.
What?
They've already lost to this Florida team, guys, by 30.
Yeah.
So
Oof.
7.5, 6.5. I don't know if home court advantage, and I don't know, maybe the boys are juiced up because if they win this game or even keep it competitive, they could potentially get themselves into the bracket.
They tend to keep it tight in the dog pound.
They also lost to Alabama, Mississippi State, Texas A&M, Missouri, and Auburn again. So
I mean, the only bad loss I hear in there is Mississippi State and Missouri, I guess.
But
No.
Mississippi State's still a good team.
Josh, Mississippi State's 29th overall in Ken Palm, and Missouri's 14th.
Yeah, Missouri's good this year.
So
Don't know ball.
there are no bad losses.
Not a ball knower.
There's
Not
no
this
bad
year,
losses.
bro. Not when the SEC has 12 teams in quad one. I don't know ball.
Yeah, there's no bad losses on this resume. There's just and here's a crazy win from them earlier in the year. St. John's. Anybody? We'll talk about them later in championship odds, but they beat St. John's in November. So I mean, this team can win, but that's like their only big win on the season. I mean, they did trounce Kentucky by 13 at home back in January, but I'm going to take Florida here, especially because they've already beat this team by 30. They only lost to Auburn by 2 at home, though. So, I mean, they can keep it tight at home, like you said, Josh, but I'll take Florida here.
What, the 6.5?
Yeah, I'll take the 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody going with the dogs? Gotcha. All right, let's move into our next one. We have an unranked matchup here, but I thought this was just an interesting line. Baylor heading into Cincinnati. Baylor is 5-9 in their quad one opportunities. the 30th ranked team in Ken Palm with the 13th best defense in the 66th best 13th.
Don't
Is
hurt
he having a
yourself.
stroke? Yeah, I think he had a stroke.
No, there's yelling.
Offensive
There's
efficiency.
yelling. 30th best offense, 66th best defense. Going against Cincy, who's the 91st offense and 22nd defense. So I'm actually going to be on the dog on this one.
This is a quad one matchup.
This is for both teams.
Yep.
Gotcha. I like Baylor here. I like Baylor. Their offense is stronger than their defense, but their offense is still rated higher than Cincy's defense. Their defense rated higher than Baylor or than Cincy's offense. I'll take the dog here at plus 2.5.
Baylor's already beaten Cincinnati once too, by 20.
Yeah, at home. So I mean, it is a
Yeah.
road game, and it's different. It's a long cross country flight. But I just like how Baylor's been playing recently too.
That's fair.
I don't know how this works out in basketball, but I know in football, when a team goes 2 time zones, yada 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 yada. So give me the home team. Give me Cincy.
I'm also going to take Cincy, but I'm going to give a little bit of statistics behind the reasoning. The only reason I'm taking them is because Baylor is 2-8 in the past 10 away games they've played, and Cincy's 11-4 at home.
Yeah, I
The
knew
past.
that. I just didn't want to take your stats.
But I mean, I really like this Baylor team. Like Tyler said, they're not bad. So, but I'm taking Cincy at home.
Yeah, no, I'm with you and Tyler. This Baylor team has been fun to watch. They are an exciting team. We've seen them win big games, and they have that opportunity. So it kind of depends on what Baylor we're going to see here. Yeah, 2-8 on the road isn't cool. What you want to hear going, listen to the stats of this game, but I don't know. Yeah, give me the home team in Cincy in a close one. This could be fun to spread a little on a teaser,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
But to give some, also the 2-8 in away games is a little bit skewed just because it is
Yeah.
Big 12 basketball. Keep in mind, because those away losses are, well, they lost to Gonzaga, they lost to UConn away, Iowa State away, Arizona away.
Yeah, very
Who
good
else?
schools.
BYU, who just beat Kentucky by like 20. Like, they've lost to good
BYU
teams.
just beat Arizona too.
Yeah, it's like, I don't even know.
There's a lot of good basketball
Being
schools
played.
out there. Yeah,
There's a
it's
big gap. Like, I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
there's your tournament teams, and there's going to be a lot of teams that get into the tournament this year. It feels like that are just not good.
yeah, it's gonna kind of turn out like the college playoffs.
Yeah.
This is gonna be hard. We're gonna be like, do we put in like a smaller conference school when you got a school that's way bigger and probably better?
Like, you're getting a Georgia team and possibly into this March Madness where I don't think they really deserve it. Like,
No,
a team
they
with
don't.
11 quad one losses, like, in
Yeah,
the tournament. Crazy to me. But
All right, next on the slate, Clark, your boys, Iowa State, 9th in the nation according to the AP poll, heading into Oklahoma State. Is it going to be an upset in Stillwater, Clark?
I don't know, because we could be shorthanded again this week, like we
There
were
you go.
against Houston, our top 2 scorers on the team. But we played without our top 2 scorers, Keyshawn and Curtis Jones, and lost to Houston by 9. So with mathing, I think we should win this game. Cover the spread, I don't know.
All right, let's dive into the stats a little bit then. So Iowa State, you're 6-5 in quad one opportunities. Not the most opportunistic against the big dogs. Ken Palm has you guys at 8th overall. AP has you at the 9th overall. You're the 21st best offense and the ninth best defense. I didn't know the boys were up there slapping the hardwood like that. Names ninth best defense. That's crazy.
We've
for the
always been a
record-
really good
Yeah.
defensive team.
For the record, this is a quad 2 game for them, and they're 7-0.
So they are 7-0 in the quad 2 opportunities, which all right.
Oklahoma State's
And-
quad too.
They're barely a quad 2. If this was in Oklahoma, it would be a
It
quad
is.
3.
This is in Oklahoma State.
Oh, sorry. If it was in Iowa State, it was in Iowa, it would be a quad 3 game.
Gotcha. So I'm guessing this is a quad 1 opportunity for Oklahoma State, which
Yeah.
they are 0-10 in such opportunities. Ken Palm has this team at 103rd overall, 136th offense, and 105th defense. Clark, I didn't know you guys were hurt. I also didn't know y'all were slapping the hardwood. I just try to stay away from anything that's wearing fucking,
Cardinal and gold.
mustard colors.
Cardinal and gold.
So, yeah, I'll stick away from this one, but I would assume y'all cover. If anything, put you
Yeah.
in a money line parlay, but y'all are going to be like fucking minus 1,300 on the money line.
Yeah.
Anybody got a take here on the spread?
I'm
It's
looking.
a little high.
Trying to find different spreads. just
If
to
we have
see.
our starters in, yeah, I'm taking the spread.
I
But
don't know. I've been
not
burned on
knowing.
Iowa State already this year, so they're already
Yeah.
on my shit list. And I don't
It's
like
just
Iowa State
tough
how
to
it
know.
is.
It's tough to know. Like,
It really is.
67% of the money is on Oklahoma State.
That's interesting.
well, it's because our starters are hurt.
Yeah, I think Clark. I mean, if I'm Ossenberger, right? That's how you pronounce it.
Otzelberger,
Yeah, if I'm him, I'm not
sit
risking
him.
re-injuring. I'm sitting him. Your, sixth and seventh guy should be able to come in here and still handle this Oklahoma State team. Might
Yeah.
not cover, but you'll get the win. And
all
I
you
don't think
need.
it's going to affect your net ranking if you don't cover. You get the win, you're going to be fine. So,
Yeah.
think it's worth mentioning, Clark. I don't know if you checked out the latest or not.
You
But-
froze.
Iowa State current. Am I back?
You're back.
Yeah.
Iowa State currently sits as a 2 seed in the West. You guys get a start in Milwaukee and finish in San Francisco. I like Iowa State, like basketball wise, but a 2 seed seems bold for you boys.
Do you think we should be lower?
I mean, here's my thing. I get it with the SEC's record and everything, but I
Yeah.
think y'all get smacked by a multitude of SEC teams.
Really?
Yeah, Florida, Bama would be an interesting matchup because Bama doesn't play any defense. But Florida, Bama, Tennessee, Auburn, I mean, it just
I think
sucks 'cause
Auburn
they
waxes
can't-
anyone they step on the floor with this year, realistically.
I mean, we've played Auburn already this year, and it was a 1-point loss.
I'm just saying, and that's early season. Auburn has turned it up all season long. They just went into Tuscaloosa and stomped their shit. Like,
Well, I mean, I get what you're saying. I don't think there's 3 teams in the SEC that beat us, though, like playing our best game. I think maybe Auburn and one of the others gets us, but
I
don't
think
know.
what could potentially help you in this bracket, the projected one for y'all, is that in the West, your 1 seed is Florida, and that's a long cross-country flight for them. I mean, it is for y'all too, but Florida to California is way farther.
that's a flight.
But-
Yeah.
Y'all would have to potentially get by Texas A&M or even BYU. Again, this is all hypothetical.
Yeah.
But BYU could sneak y'all too. So, I mean,
I don't know, because my thing is every single loss we have this year is with an unhealthy team. We have a starter out, like Milan Momcilovic missed, I think, 6 games in the middle of the season.
Hey,
he
man,
hasn't-
best ability is availability.
Yeah, and then every game we've had him, haven't lost. We've won by like I think 15 points every game he's actually played in. So I mean, it's kind of a health thing here, but I get what you're saying.
yeah, it sucks y'all to be in the West. However, who the hell's the two? They're going to give the 2 seed in the Midwest to Wisconsin. See, that I'm not a fan of. I
They
think if
just lost
anybody,
though.
yeah, and granted, this is from last Friday. We'll get a new
Yeah.
bracketology tomorrow, but I think right now, out of the projected Midwest, y'all definitely should be the 2 seed, if not the 1. But you're not going to get a 1 over
We're not.
Auburn, Bama, Duke, or Florida. I
I
think
don't want that.
Houston still has precedent over you as a 1
They're winning the
seed.
Big 12 this
Tennessee
year,
as
so
well.
Yeah, so
I
Yeah.
saw something today. It's like
we're a
it
2
was
or
like a
3.
blind resume comparison, and there's 6 teams, which are the 6 that were just named.
Yeah.
That would be the first. Any of them not getting a 1 seed would be the first team ever with a resume like theirs to not receive a 1 seed. And there's 6 of them, so mathematically 2 of them will not be 1 seeds.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and I think, but it is worth mentioning, Auburn and Alabama play each other again coming up this season. The SEC has a gauntlet, and then we're going to see what happens in the SEC tournament. Like, they're not going to cannibalize each other out of the tournament. There is a chance they could cannibalize each other out of a couple 1 seed spots, and I could see not having 3 1 seeds from the SEC. I could see Houston taking one. I don't
Right
think
now, Houston's your first 2 seed, I believe.
Yeah, and I don't think we see a Big 10 team as a 1 seed. Right
a
now,
chance.
you're kind of hoping Wisconsin, but again, they just had an ugly loss. So I think Houston's still having precedent over Iowa State. I think you guys are firmly a 2 seed.
I
Could
think so.
slide to the 3 seed line, but
Mhm.
I would assume y'all stay the 2 seed. But it sounds like everybody's kind of wishy-washy here against Oklahoma State. Kind of depends on the health of the starters.
Yeah, I like Iowa State to win no matter what, but 9.5
For sure.
with 2 guys out, I don't think that's possible. I don't think it happens.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the only ranked matchup for the night on Tuesday, which is 24th Mississippi State heading into number 6 Alabama. Alabama 8.5-point favorites at home. This is a quad 1 opportunity for both teams. Mississippi State 7-7 in their quad 1 opportunities. Alabama's 9-5 in those opportunities. Bama 6th overall for Ken Palm, 3rd best offense. They play at an ungodly pace. 47th best defense. That is their Achilles heel. Mississippi State, on the other hand, 25th best offense. They are super efficient, and the 38th best defense. They just don't play at an insane tempo like Alabama does. Alabama is an interesting team right now. They are coming off of beating Kentucky by 13 at home. The 2 games before that, though, losing to Missouri on the road, losing to Auburn at home, not last Saturday, but the Saturday previously. Alabama is one of those teams that they have to face the fucking fire these last few games. Mississippi State is a hard game at home, but then they got to go on the road to Tennessee. They host Florida, and they're on the road to Auburn. They're projected.
Alabama might end up a 3 seed.
Yuck.
Ken Palm is projecting them to go 1-4 or 1-3 over their final 4 games, with their only win being in this Mississippi State matchup. So they do have them as a 1-point loss to Florida at home. So that one's kind of a toss-up, but they have them losing to 6 by Tennessee and by 10 to Auburn on the road. That'll be an interesting one on March 8th. Fucking get your popcorns ready. They have
them. They have them as a 1-point dog to Florida.
Yeah.
After Florida dog walked them by 14.
Correct.
Home.
But they have them at home. They're going to play that game in Tuscaloosa. So,
And they're good at home.
But let's get into the matchup that is on deck for this one. Alabama won this game already this year and on the road by 4. So I think they cover here. I think they need this one, especially with the road ahead for them. I think this one's going to be important, especially they went on the 2-game losing streak. You got 2 gettable home games here with Kentucky and Mississippi State. They need to solidify their resume before they go and face Tennessee, Auburn, and Florida. However, all 3 of those teams are top 5 teams. If they go 0-3, sure, it's going to knock them. But also, you're on a nightmare run Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, facing Goliaths. So it's not like it's going to murder them. It's mostly going to affect SEC standing for the playoffs and what their seeding is going to be for the SEC playoffs. Josh, you mentioned they might not be a 1 seed. So for that reason, I
they
think
might not be a 2 seed. If they lose these next 3 and then get bounced in the second or third round of the SEC tournament,
you're right. There is that chance.
I mean, they're all going to be good losses. I'm not like,
Yeah,
they have 5 losses. They're all quad 1 losses. If they lose the next 3, they have 8 losses. They're all quad 1 losses. Assuming they make it through the first 2 rounds of the SEC tournament, that's going to be another quad 1 loss. I mean, so you would have 9 losses, all Q1, but is 9, like, you can't make a 9-loss team a 1 seed. And then it's okay, do they sit on a 2? Are they the last 2 or the first 3? Is really, I think, where that would come down to. Because you'd have at least 2, if not 3 other SEC teams ahead of them.
So right now, how they sit, they are tied for second in the conference. However, they're losing the tiebreaker to Florida. Auburn is in the 1 seed, obviously, but Tennessee is 9-5. I don't know who they play to finish out the year. I'm sure they probably have a nightmare scenario as well.
They finish with LSU.
Oh, they have LSU, Ole Miss, and South Carolina. So they get a kind of not necessarily coast into the tournament, but
they get a Q1 and a Q3, and then 2 Q1s.
So, it'll definitely be an easier road in for them. They should help their conference standings and put that pressure on Alabama. So, I mean, there's a chance we see Alabama, if they get to 5 losses in the conference, then they're staring down Missouri, who they just lost to. So Missouri would hold that tiebreaker over them. So, I mean, there's a chance they slide down the SEC rankings a little bit, but it's currently a 3-way logjam at 9-5 with Tennessee, Missouri, and Texas A&M, all of which are ranked.
But Tennessee would jump 15. Them. If in this scenario, Tennessee jumps them.
Correct. So, Alabama pretty much playing for their seeding. I don't think they go 1-3. I think at worst they go 2-2 over these next 4 games. But last year, Auburn won on the road in Alabama, and Alabama won on the road in Auburn. So them saying that's a 10-point loss, I don't know about that. That's a big game. It's a rivalry game, obviously.
We're also a week and a half out.
Yeah, so anything could happen. Janai Broom could roll an ankle or
so
something.
So maybe
again.
Fucking get Bama at 10.5 now.
Yeah. Well, if you could find a line that far out, I'd love that. But give me Alabama minus 8.5 in this matchup. Mostly because they gotta have it. They gotta have it, and I don't think it can be close. So
give me the
Bulldogs
to keep this one close.
Clark?
Give me Bama.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Bama. I like this line at 8.5. I think Mississippi State's gonna show up to play. They have before. The record shows it. So they're not gonna go away easily. But I think just Alabama keeps this game just out of reach.
I like it. All right. We're going to get into one game on Wednesday. That is a Big Ten matchup. There's no line out for it yet, just the KenPom projected line, which are usually accurate within a point. So they have number 8 Michigan State heading into number 16 Maryland. KenPom has this projected as a 3-point win for Maryland. Maryland lighting it up as of late. Michigan State, 10th in the KenPom rankings, 23rd best offense, 12th best defense. And then for Maryland, they have the 17th best offense and the 20th best defense. It is going to be close to March. That's when Izzo is sniffing around. He's always in the picture. This game, Parker and I, hand up, have sworn each other to stop betting Big Ten basketball, as you never know how the fuck it's going to go. I broke that rule over the weekend, and I had Purdue winning by 7 at halftime for them to score
I did it
8
to myself
points
as well.
in the first 13 minutes of the second half. So, fuck Big Ten basketball. I do like the way that Maryland's been playing as of late. So I kind of lean to them, especially because it's at home, but you never know. Anybody got a lean there?
I'm going to go with Michigan State. With that being said, Maryland will probably win by 13. So I have no clue what's going to happen. So I'm going to watch this from the comfort of not betting on this game and giving zero fucks about what the spread is. With that
Fair enough.
information, bet with your heart and your desire, but I will not be.
It's like my whole thing is it's like Tyler said about Izzo. Izzo don't fuck around when it gets close to March.
Hasn't Maryland been on a tear though? Haven't they played really well?
Bro, Maryland has been on a crazy run lately.
Yeah, but they're 6-5 in Q1.
Yeah,
Maryland.
but I don't know. Hold on, let me pull up their recent schedule. Like they've just been on a fucking tear as of late.
Because don't they have like a couple good guards?
Yeah,
something
they have a couple dudes who are probably going to get drafted, and nobody talks about Maryland. So they just beat USC by 17 at home. USC's nothing. They beat Iowa by 26 at home. Iowa again is nothing.
Q2 win.
They beat Nebraska on the road by 8. They beat Rutgers, who's sneaky good, at home by 9. This team beat Wisconsin at home at the end of January by 8 points. So I mean, they just have a sneaky good team. They beat Illinois on the road by 21. This team just kind of has not been talked about a whole lot, and just they hung in there early in the season against Marquette, only losing by 4 in November. So you never know. This team is sneaky good, and I don't feel like they're talked about. And they're gonna fuck up a lot of people's brackets as a 5 seed. Projected right now, what really pisses me off is in the latest bracket projection, they are facing Drake from Des Moines, so I would hate to see that.
Drake and the 12 seed. Name a better duo and a more cursed duo.
I'm gonna give me Maryland in this one, but I will not be touching it. This is gonna be feet up for me.
Feet up.
So
Yeah.
Go ahead, Parker.
I mean, just looking at it, this game's going to hold kind of playoff implications for Big Ten tournament and how that goes, what agrees. So, I mean, this one could be popcorn. I mean, yeah, that's a good line.
Yeah, I mean, it's a projected line, but I think we're going to see 3.5 to 2.5. Ken Palm's usually within a half a point. This one, though, like you said, Parker, Michigan State 10-6 in the conference. Maryland 11-5.
Yeah, they're tied with Wisconsin.
No. I'm looking at women's standings. I was like, timeout. USC is shit. So I was like, this can't be fucking right. Where the fuck is Big Ten men's basketball standings? Here we go. Michigan State 13-3, Maryland 11-5. So Maryland has the chance to kind of claw their way up. They're tied with Wisconsin right now at 11-5 in the conference standing. So they could get their conference seed boosted a little bit here with the win, try to close the gap. So before we completely shut down for the week, guys, I just wanted to have everybody pull up national championship odds on your device. I listed the favorites so far. Auburn plus 360 to win it. They're second in the Ken Palm rankings. Duke, number 1 in the Ken Palm rankings, at plus 370. They've just been world beaters this year. I think they're favored by 22 tomorrow. Granted, they're playing an ACC schedule that isn't super deep this year. The ACC is traditionally good, but having a kind of a down year. Houston at plus 800. They're the third best team in KenPom. They play super slow. We talk about it all the time. They're elite defense. If you like defense, think defense wins championships, they're right there. Florida at plus 850. Bama at 12-1, Tennessee at 16-1, Iowa State at 18-1, and St. John's at 30-1 with Rick Pitino at the helm. So, does anybody have anybody they like? Do we have a long shot that we like? Clark, I know you're going to say Iowa State.
I am saying Iowa State, obviously, but like strictly just favorites right now, Duke looks freaking so good, dude. Like if they stay hot and just continue to blow teams out early in the tournament.
They're not battle tested like Auburn though.
I know
Like
they're not,
I would take
but
Auburn over
they
Duke.
just have that wow factor, and you kind of need that in the tournament. They have the, whew.
Yeah. So this is an interesting debate of, out of these top two, who do you think it is? I have money already placed on an Auburn future, and I lean kind of the same way Josh does. Auburn has had to fight through countless quad one opportunities in this just totally Goliath SEC schedule, whereas Duke's kind of just had the run of the mill. They do have the head-to-head win over Auburn, but that's on a true home court for Duke. That wasn't even at a neutral site. Auburn has road wins over Houston.
You know what else Auburn has?
Technically, it's a neutral, but yeah, it's the only loss Auburn has is to Duke. But
Auburn also has a fuck ton of experience.
The
average age of the team is older than Luka Doncic.
Yeah, so, Auburn is packed with seniors, where Duke, on the other hand, has the flash seniors in the pan. They have the superstar. They have Cooper Flagg. I think the running between Cooper Flagg and Janai Broome for the Wooden Award this year is super interesting too, on what you value more.
When was the last time the number one overall pick in the NBA draft won the national championship the year before?
Not very.
That's a good question. I couldn't tell you. Zion?
No, I don't think they won.
They lost in like the Sweet 16.
No, that's right. Yeah. No, I don't know.
He's got a fair point. He's got a point.
He might have cooked with that. So,
kid does no ball.
Out of those two, I'm going to go between Auburn and Duke. I already have my money on Auburn. I think my exact words to Parker earlier today was anybody but Duke for me, essentially. So, Clark, you're leaning the Duke route. Josh, you're leaning Auburn.
Well, if I was to put money on it, I'm putting money on Auburn.
Okay. Interesting.
But I just like the wow factor of Cooper Flagg. Like,
okay. Parker, who do you like between Auburn and Duke?
Well, I like Duke. Okay. I like the young stature around that team. They're firing right now. I know they're a young team and Auburn's battle tested, but I think Duke has the legacy of being there. I think that coach understands that, so he's going to try to get those boys ready for what it is the playoffs. And, this is what it means, and March is where it's at. So maybe, hopefully, Duke stays in it. I know he said fade Duke. I just kind of had to listen to it because I like Duke this whole time. I've been talking about Duke since college basketball started. But, yeah, whatever it is, those two face each other. It's going to be a hell of a game.
I don't think they'll both make it.
You have to go all the way back to
But I like Duke.
Those dominant AD or Kyrie. I'm trying to find the answer. I'm trying to find the answer to that question. I think you have to go that far back.
Damn.
So those dominant Kentucky teams, because it wasn't Zachariah Rasher. The kid that went first last year. It wasn't Victor. It wasn't Paulo. Wasn't Cade. Wasn't Ant. Wasn't Zion, wasn't DeAndre Ayton, wasn't Fultz, sure as fuck wasn't Ben Simmons, wasn't Cat, right? Wasn't Cat. Somebody check that.
It might have been Cat. But
I don't think it was Wiggins. I don't think Kentucky won that year. It definitely wasn't fucking Anthony Bennett out of UNLV. So I think you get to 80, because that would have been like 80 Joel before Duke, and that team was fucking scary. Although they might not have won that either.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Anthony Davis.
Was it AD? Okay.
Anthony
So
Davis.
yeah, you have to go back
2012.
13 years.
Yeah,
And Cooper Flagg's the presumed number 1 overall pick. That's why this is important for people that don't know ball.
It's interesting. Clark, you made a good point though. You don't think both teams make it there, and I'm almost in that boat with you.
Yeah.
There's a when was the last time we saw the top 2 overall seeds in the fucking championship game?
I'm literally looking
the year I
that up
won
right
that
now.
huge parlay. What year was that? 23 years ago? 4?
2021, maybe 2022.
23 years
2021.
ago.
No,
2021.
COVID March Madness doesn't count.
Anyway, all
Double
right,
title.
boys. So we've gone through the 2.
I like Sparty.
You like Michigan State?
Maybe it's because we were literally just talking about them, but I see Sparty on my phone and I just get a little feeling in my stomach. I'm like, it is kind of an Izzo year.
35 to 1.
Doesn't 2025 feel like an Izzo year?
Josh, I'll let you know. I placed 1 unit on Michigan State to win the championship probably 3 weeks ago now. They are offering me a cash out at 0.2 units. So that's what the books think of Michigan State's
odds. Well, I got them at
odds.
40 to 1, so.
Josh, I actually I don't bet a whole lot of college basketball. One of the things I am possibly
I'd buy that ticket off you.
One of the things I'm
I'll sell it.
possibly
Take the money.
one
I'll
of the
sell
things
it, bro.
one of the
Take
things
the
I'm looking at is betting against every Big Ten team when the tournament comes around.
Correct.
And doubling the bet every week.
Correct.
That's not a bad idea.
Correct.
These teams are going to get smoked
The
in
Big
March
Ten
Madness.
is so fucking bad in March Madness, bro.
The Big Ten is horrible. And as Parker and I talked about it again today, because I added another future to my folder, I was like, I feel fucking stupid for having Michigan State even in my tickets at all.
Are you going to give us a folder breakdown someday? Because at the end of last season, you said you were going to be good about it, and you never did.
Okay. I have been good about it. I actually have.
But you haven't been keeping everybody updated. You haven't been giving everybody your stuff.
I have 2 units on Auburn. I have a unit on. I don't have. Accountant, could you pull this up for me?
Huh?
You're my accountant. I can't say what you are.
What am
He
I
wants to
pulling
know
up?
what the odds.
Could you
he
pull
has
up
on
my
his
blue
futures.
book and tell me the odds I have on these teams to win? So my portfolio so far is Auburn at 2 units, Houston at a unit, Bama, Tennessee, Michigan State, but I'm selling that to Josh. And
Whoa,
then
I didn't say that.
No. We can roll the fucking.
I want to know what the odds are. I have a right to know what odds you got them at.
30 to 1, I think.
I have them at 40 to 1 right now. So I'll buy it for a third of a unit.
That's not math.
That is math.
That's not.
But I
math
offered
at
you
all.
half. I offered you half a unit.
And
That's
then
why I thought you had them at my odds.
And then I have UConn for a half a unit. So that's my portfolio, and I feel really stupid about Michigan State and UConn right now. But I feel like with those, I said you always got to be on Izzo, and it'd be really cool to see the 3-peat. So
Who do you want
what are my odds that I have on Auburn?
on Auburn?
Yeah.
Plus 430.
So I got Auburn at plus 430. What did I get get Houston at?
Plus 900.
That's a good
Good ticket.
What's the cash out on that?
Still the 1 unit, isn't it?
Yeah, 100.
Yeah.
Or 90
good
bucks.
It's a good one to keep, Ty, because I'm looking at it now. Since 1985, so we're talking 39 years here. 25 of the 39 years, a number 1 seed in the tournament has won the championship.
Yeah. Bama, I have at what odds, Parker?
Plus 1,300.
13-1 on Bama is so fucking hot. Tennessee, I
they're
got at
12 to
what?
1 right now.
15-1.
Losing money.
Yeah, it is losing money right now. Michigan State, I got at what that Josh is buying?
Plus 3,000.
So 30-1 for
1.
Josh.
I'll give you a third of a unit.
UConn, I got who? I got them at what? A lot.
Oof.
Yeah, 55-1.
55-1 on UConn.
Wow.
Big Husky fan, huh?
No, I put a half unit on them just for the three-peat's sake. And then today, the most recent team I added was St. John's, and I
Yes.
got them at 25-1, which is a shitty. I should have shopped around. They're at 30-1 on the green book, but I've been doing all my futures on the blue book, and I think I got them at 25-1.
I like
Correct.
that.
So St. John's has been looking good right now. I was just about to ask you guys, who's your favorite long shots? Josh threw out Michigan State. Mine is St. John's at 30-1, or I got them at 25-1, which really sucks. I should have shopped that.
Hear me out. Do you consider Kansas to be a long shot?
Kansas has been playing like shit right now.
Like
so yeah,
crap.
I would definitely consider them a long shot right now at 60-1 on the green book.
Because I mean, if they find it in the tournament, like I would be a little worried. But
For
as
sure.
of right now, I don't care. I don't think they're
What about? I mean, call me
BYU.
crazy. This team just locked up their conference, and they're not even the favorite to win the Natty out of their conference. St.
Drake.
Mary's at 100-1.
Oh.
St. Mary's, you got them at a way better price than I do. I see them at 80-1. St. Mary's is one of those teams that plays real slow, good defensive squad. So, I mean, if you think
Kinda like
defense
Houston.
can win championships, but I think Houston's the better version of St. Mary's.
That's
Better offense than
literally
St.
just
Mary's.
baby version.
Tyler,
Yeah.
who is, in your mind, and Clark, I'll ask you the same question, who is the worst SEC team capable of winning the Natty? Is it Michigan State or Mississippi State? Sorry.
They can't win the Natty.
You don't think
No.
Mississippi State can?
To win the Natty, the worst SEC team, I would probably put it at Texas
Ole Miss?
A&M.
A&M, okay.
Vanderbilt.
I was gonna say Missouri.
So
Missouri,
another good
Texas
take.
A&M have the
Missouri's-
same odds on my book.
So I got
Okay.
Missouri at 40-1, A&M at 45-1. Clark, you said Vandy. I have Vandy at
That was Parker.
or
I was
Parker.
like,
I have Vandy at 250-1.
Hell nah.
I got Michigan State's or Mississippi State's 100-1. That's kind of why I asked, just because I was in the 100-1 section and they were there.
See, that's interesting. You have Vandy at 250-1. On my book, they're only 100-1.
Got shop books, baby.
Dude, you gotta shop books when it comes to futures because there's
So is
wild
Texas dog
swings.
shit or?
Texas is dog shit.
Okay.
Texas is not. I don't think Texas is gonna make the field.
Okay,
So-
so look, we talked about McNeese 500-1.
Yeah, I mean, that's there. You're probably looking at what, like an 11 seed there. What is McNeese? 12 seed
Probably
in
a
the last
12 seed.
bracketology. So
Tyler, you mentioned Drake, but of course it's Drake in the fucking 12 seed.
I like
they're
BYU.
They're also 500.
I also like BYU.
BYU's not a terrible ticket, but I mean, I'm just thinking
100-1
realistic.
on BYU.
Like I told Josh, you asked to be open about mine. All of mine right now, besides Michigan State, well, I don't even know what they're ranked at. So really, besides UConn, who's a 8 or a 9 seed, most of mine are covering like the majority of the 1 and 2 seeds, which isn't great because they're not all going to get there. But I have a feeling I'm going to have at least 2 teams in the Final Four, depending on how seeding goes and if they have to
Mhm.
face
Do
each
you
other.
think so, though? This doesn't feel like a chalk year to me. This feels like a year where you could have an 8 seed in the Final Four.
I don't think so.
Like, it
Steve.
feels like the playing field's it's just like college football. It feels like the playing field's leveled out. I mean, obviously the SEC is the cream of the crop this year.
Yeah.
But it seems like everything's just right here.
I guess to me, I haven't watched enough basketball, and these guys don't play as many cross conference games, tough schedules as like you see see in football. So I don't think we're really going to see the separation of talent till we get to the tournament.
Yeah.
And that's where you're going to miss out on like that 5-6 team in the SEC who should maybe be like a 9-10 seed in the tournament, but couldn't get in because SEC has already filled all their spots. Something like that.
Yeah. I mean,
speaking of SEC filling all their spots, there's been more super conference talk this week. Sorry, I'm pulling us out of this.
I haven't
No,
heard
you're
about
good.
this.
So for those that don't know, the Big 12 charter, which establishes the Big 12 as an organization, expires in 2031 if they do not reach a new agreement. The ACC does not expire till 2036, but the first year any team that is part of the ACC is allowed to buy their way out of the agreement is 2031. All the media deals for the Big Ten and the SEC expire in 2031. The college football national championship playoff format is locked in until 2031. So there's been a lot of talk this week, like 2031, 2031, 20. So let's go to 2032 because that's when that would take effect for basketball. If it's still a 64, 68 team, whatever, who's to say that it's not, I don't know, 16 Big Ten, 16 SEC, and the other 34, everybody else has to figure it the fuck out.
I mean, that's pretty much the entire conference for both, and there's not even that many teams.
But
that
not in 2032. It won't be, Tyler.
True. I mean,
in 2032, they're going to be 2 40-team conferences.
Potentially, I hope we never get to that. But
That would suck.
To your point
crazy.
of expanding the NCAA tournament, they're already talking about spreading it to 76. I think
like
it
that.
was, and it's more play-in teams. Like they're expanding the play-in teams, which I don't like at all. 64 has been perfect. You're never getting a perfect bracket, but it's money talks. March Madness is money. But I think it drags it out. I think it's gonna soil it down. Like those play-in games really don't get watched, or
they get watched a little bit. Like I'll throw them on.
But they're like Christmas Eve, dude. I'm fucking setting out the milk and cookies, and I'm waiting on Santa to come down the chimney the next day. I'm
watching it because I'm waiting because maybe I think this 12 seed play-in team can win against the 5, but not that one. So I'm sitting there waiting to submit my bracket.
But like the 16 seed play-in game
doesn't matter.
Nobody's really watching that. And nobody wants to see more of that, in my opinion. It soils it, waters it down.
And they're not going to add a whole nother round. You'd have
for sure.
That's just not. Then you would be letting in half of the country.
Yeah,
you just can't do that. They also talked about. I'm sorry, still on this. They talked about changing the way the college football playoff works and giving the Big Ten and the SEC 4 auto bids.
Hate that too.
Yeah, four's too many. I think 2 auto bids is probably realistically where probably where it should be for both of those conferences.
For sure.
But agreed.
But let's get into it. I want it back, and I want it back in blood. Lock of the week.
Oh, we're going back to lock.
Clark.
Okay.
You won us the last season.
So before that, going forward, Tuesday is going to be the day, right? Until we're going to do the live show for the bracket. We'll do the live show for the draft, but until further notice, we're going to be doing Tuesdays.
Yeah,
so.
Episodes are going to drop on Tuesdays.
At least until the end of college basketball. Then we'll probably go back to later in the week because then we can get golf.
Mm-hmm.
So just be on the lookout for us on Tuesdays now instead of Fridays for the time being.
Clark, the floor's yours, brother.
Before I give my pick here, we've talked about this every single season. A punishment for the loser.
Now's the time to establish it.
I think it's a great time.
I want to bring it up. We don't have to pick the punishment right here, right now, live, but let's
Next
get
week,
it out there.
Everybody come with a suggestion and we'll vote.
Yes. I just want it I want it out there.
I like it.
Shaved head, eating dirty, rotten crap,
Head
whatever,
is
No,
crazy.
whatever
shaved
you want.
head and not eating rotten stuff
Shaved
because
head is crazy.
we're adults
word.
that have jobs. I'm like fucking Parker over here.
Hey,
All right, Clark.
Okay,
Where
I'm
you
gonna give my
going?
pick. Give me Florida -7.5.
All right.
that was gonna be my lock.
You can tell me.
I don't want to tell you. You tell me.
Parker, give your pick.
Give me Alabama -8.5. Or lower if you have it lower somewhere.
You can't alternate them.
I'll take Oklahoma State plus the 9.5 against the Clones.
God, I hope you're so wrong.
Ethan?
I don't know ball. I'm gonna be dead. Like this is not gonna be a good start to the season for Josh.
Ethan,
Yeah.
where you going, buddy?
I'm very similar to Josh. I like to watch NCAA basketball. I am fucking terrible at betting on it.
I'm
So
okay at betting on it, but I
I'm
haven't watched anything.
I'm gonna go with an NBA pick. Give me the Boston Celtics -10.5 against the Toronto Raptors.
All right. Give
Do
me
not go
Murray
to the
State
weeds.
-5.5 against Indiana State. Give me Murray State, baby.
Tell me why I saw that.
Too funny.
Well, that is going to do it for this episode of the Show Me the Money podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you on Tuesdays from now on. In the meantime,
Show me the money!
show me the money!
Show me the money!